I don't know much about Geico. I know they provide car insurance, but I don't know if it's any good. I'm not sure what kind of coverage they offer, or at what prices, or what their deductibles look like. For all I know, they could be one of the worst insurance companies out there. But what I do know is that 15 minutes could save me 15% or more in my car insurance. Advertisements is something Geico has become known for, so much so that they've overshadowed the product itself. The Geico company is a subsidiary of Berkshire Hathaway, ran by Warren Buffett. Geico has a tremendous advertising budget. They've been known to spend over $1 billion in a single year. Ads can be expensive. When shown during big events such as the Super Bowl or the Oscars, they could cost millions of dollars. And how long do we really go without seeing a Geico commercial? I'll bet you'll see one today at some point. If you don't see it on TV, it'll be on the internet, in a magazine, or on a billboard. The industry of auto insurance is heavily reliant on advertising. Look at these insurance ads. We've all come to know them. Flo from Progressive, Jake from State Farm, this guy from Allstate. The insurance industry is all about getting your name out there. It's the sort of industry where people are likely to go to whichever company is in their head at the time. If I need to purchase some auto insurance, I don't want to spend a tremendous amount of time on it. I'll probably research the first company I think of, and if their prices are reasonable, I'm buying it. Therefore, they have to compete so hard to implant their brand on my brain. Geico has been quite successful with their heavy marketing approach. Their revenue has been increasing steadily, and they've made a name for themselves in the industry. Geico stands out from the other companies, not just in the quantity of their ads, but in the content of their ads. They've turned the entire concept on its head. Common sense would tell you once something works, stick with it. People like things that are familiar to them, and if it isn't broke, why fix it? Once most companies have a marketing tactic that works well, they milk it as much as they can. Take Flo from Progressive. They're going on 10 years of this campaign. Can anyone even think of a Progressive ad that isn't centered around her? There's nothing wrong with this method. A big reason it's used is that it's so hard to come up with a successful campaign, that once it happens, it's foolish to let it go. But you have to respect Geico for the diversity of their ads. Sure, they have some old favorites that they keep going back to, but they're constantly coming up with new concepts. Most companies are lucky if they could have one successful campaign. Geico has done it several times. I say Geico because that's the company represented by the commercials, but it's actually a company called the Martin Agency that's behind many of them. Let's use a little metaphor here. There's few things in this world that can't be explained through 1980s music, and this is no exception. Most companies are like the Culture Club or a flock of seagulls. They made one or two successful songs, had a few others that may have charted, but really nothing in comparison to those two. Not that the other songs are bad, they just don't compare in popularity. Wendy's came up with Where's the Beef, but haven't been able to capture that same magic again. Now Geico is the Michael Jackson of ad campaigns, just producing hit after hit. There comes a time when he could just sit back and coast on the hits he's already made, but he doesn't. He keeps going. He creates things that are better and more popular than the ones before it. After Thriller, he could have walked away, with nobody doubting his talent. But then he comes back and hits us with bad. Geico came up with their Lizard in 1999, and could have sat back and coasted on its success. But they kept at it and created hit after hit. Now I know what you're thinking. I can't believe I'm listening to yet another person compare Geico to Michael Jackson. Well, I know you've heard this all before, so I'll move on. So how are they able to produce hits with such consistency? My theory is that since the insurance industry is about brand awareness more than anything else, it gives the creators more freedom. Car companies try to make good commercials, but they also have to fit in the fact that they won awards for initial quality, they were rated #1 by a certain magazine, and have 6 airbags and cup holders and seat warmers and satellite radio and have 0 duet signing and can be leased for $199 a month for 72 months. My point is that it's hard to make an entertaining commercial when you're trying to fit in so much product information. Geico commercials typically don't feature the product at all. The Geico company focuses on car insurance, right? Can you think of many Geico commercials that even feature a car? At least Flo talks about Progressive's Name Your Price tool. This guy talks about cars and insurance constantly. I've been watching Geico commercials for what seems like non-stop for 20 years, and I know very little about their product. I want to go through a few of my favorite Geico campaigns. These are in no particular order. We all know it's coming, so let's first take a look at this gecko. This is one of the Martin Agency creations. When the world first saw him in 1999, he was voiced by Kelsey Grammer.
This is my final plea. I am a gecko, not to be confused with Geico, which could save you hundreds on car insurance. So stop calling me Geico.
The entire premise is paper thin. The word Geico kind of sounds like the word gecko.
You have reached a gecko. You probably wanted Geico.
Over the years, he's become more British sounding and voiced by other actors. He's become more realistic looking with advances in computer animation. He's also become a spokesman for the company within the narrative of the commercials. I would have to say that this is the longest running and most successful of all the campaigns.
Thank you. Mind babysitting my kids? And I'm like, of course I'll sit with the kids. You're like a brother to me.
This is definitely the Billie Jean or Thriller of Geico ads. What I'm calling the good news ads featured someone saying they had good news, but the news was never what you would expect them to say. They would set it up as if we knew what the news would be, then throw the curveball with the punchline. I just saved a bunch of money on my car insurance by switching to Geico.
I've got some fantastic news.
I'm not here.
No, it's Geico. I just saved myself a bunch of money on my car insurance.
Well, there appears to be some good news.
Yes, sir.
Well, I just saved a bunch of money on my car insurance by switching to Geico.
Not much about car insurance, but it was funny, and it put the idea into my head that I too could save a bunch of money on my car insurance by switching to Geico. What I'm calling the Googly Eye Money ads featured a stack of money with googly eyes staring at the screen. What's this one have to do with car insurance? It's just the money that you could be saving if you switched to Geico.
That's the money you could be saving with Geico.
Which could generally be used by any company, so it doesn't exactly feature the benefits of Geico, but just like all the others, it's memorable and somehow entertaining. Oh, and it features a Michael Jackson song.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
The caveman ads. These were ads for car insurance that featured cavemen. What does that have to do with car insurance? Switching to Geico is so easy. A caveman can do it.
So easy a caveman can do it?
But the hilarity of the ad came from the fact that the caveman were actually just like the modern man. It's taking the caveman stereotype and flipping it. Some of these ads are around 10 years old, but we still remember lines from them to this day.
I'll have the roast duck with the mango salsa. I don't have much of an appetite, thank you.
The popularity of the commercial grew so high that ABC ran a sitcom based on the premise. Imagine a commercial being so popular and having such a premise where a network can base an entire sitcom around it. I've never seen the show, but it was short-lived, so maybe it wasn't quite as good as the commercials. The next set I'm calling the question ads. Each ad featured 2 questions. The first question being, could switching to Geico really save you 15% or more on car insurance?
Could switching to Geico really save you 15% or more on car insurance?
The second question was always different, but the answer to it was always an obvious yes.
Is Ed Too Tall Jones too tall?
Again, doesn't really stick to the topic of car insurance all that well, but it does place the idea in my head that Geico could save me money. Plus, it's funny. It's really just a medium to tell a joke. All the creators had to do was think of funny questions that would have an affirmative answer.
Is having a snowball fight with pitching great Randy Johnson a bad idea?
Sorry, man, you all right?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, you just winged me.
Anybody's gonna notice that?
And once people catch on to the idea of the campaign, they look out for new questions.
Can football announcer Andres Cantor make any sport exciting? Does a former drill sergeant make a terrible therapist? Does Elmer Fudd have trouble with the letter R?
One of these ads featured a pig squealing out a car window all the way home to parody the Little Piggy nursery rhyme. I don't know how popular this one was nationally, but I'd have to say this is my absolute favorite Geico ad. Just listen to this little guy and try not to laugh.
Max. Wait! Maxwell!
Yeah?
You're home.
Oh, cool. Thanks, Mrs. A.
Similar to the question campaign is the Get Happy, Get Geico campaign. It was another format to tell jokes. It's people talking about how happy they are with Geico.
Folks who save hundreds of dollars switching to Geico sure are happy.
I'd say happier than a slinky on an escalator.
Happier than Gallagher at a farmer's market. Happier than Eddie Money running a travel agency. Happier than a witch at a broom factory. Not much talk about car insurance, but it makes me aware of Geico and puts a positive image of them in my head. It's what you do. This one is more recent. Similar to the last two, it's a perfect format for telling jokes. It's hard to explain exactly what it does, so here's some examples. If you're a free-range chicken, you roam free. It's what you do. If your boss stops by, you act like you're working. It's what you do.
If you're in a horror movie, you make poor decisions. It's what you do.
Shh, I'm being quiet. Breathing.
The commercial always ends with, if you want to save 15% or more on your car insurance, you switch to Geico. It's what you do.
If you want to save 15% or more on car insurance, you switch to Geico. It's what you do.
No surprise that doesn't feature much about car insurance, but it makes me think that it's an obvious choice if I want to save money. The fast forward ads are sort of an ad revolution. These are for the newly popular ads that show up before internet videos. You may have seen one before this video. The ad is simply a setup for a long ad, then they fast forward to the end, where it's typically questionable how they got there. It's an ad adapted for a new format and shows Geico is always thinking of new ideas. These are far from all the Geico ad campaigns. The variety of ads are seemingly endless, and I could be here all day if I featured every one of them.
What day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Woo-hoo!
I tried to pick out the ones that were most popular and interesting, and the ones I personally liked the most. Some people find these ads annoying, and I'll admit they're not all home runs. But overall, I think these ads are innovative, creative, and funny. But most of all, they're effective. I'm not running out to switch my car insurance to Geico. I don't even think it's worth the 15 minutes to see if I could save 15% on my car insurance. But I'm well aware of the company, know what they provide, and look at them in a positive light.
I thought you was wearing a wire.
Why would I wear a wire? Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.
In the end, this is what they were trying to accomplish, and I'm guessing they've done it with most of you as well. Thank you for watching.